The Tree of Knowledge story is very interesting. It's probably the most famous story ever. Please follow along as I explain to you the message of that story. So God, who is the creator, who is what is true, who is what is wholesome, who is what is holy, speaks to them and says, do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And already that's a sign that we know right from wrong. We know to not do that, because doing that is bad. It's the tree of doing that would have been evil. So what can possibly the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is the tree of receiving guidance on which course to take, what can that tree even possibly do for you if you already know not to do that? Because the information came, so you have the capacity to know right from wrong already. What can this tree of knowledge of good and evil possibly do for you? The tree of knowledge, like when you eat from that tree, when you eat that apple from that tree, it's basically a metaphor for any kind of information that is received from the external world that tells you which course of action to take is right and which course of action to take is wrong. So yes, that's the big secret of that story, is that your soul already knows right from wrong, and the meaning of life has always been to do what is right and to refrain from doing what is wrong. That has always been the goal, is to do what is right and to not do what is wrong. But it's not necessarily a list of do's and don'ts. It's more like a daily thing that you're on top of your game in the moment, and you're constantly choosing, hopefully, to do what is right and not to do what is wrong before God. And He knows everything. He knows what's going on in the world. He knows what's in heaven. He knows what's holy. Anyways, I hope this video makes sense. If I would add anything else to this, I would say that, Satan comes along and says, hey, you should eat from that tree. You should start taking advice from others on what is right and what is wrong. And they do that. They eat from that tree, and suddenly God punishes them. In other words, they bought into and accepted the information that Satan, which is metaphorical of any external influence that encourages you to take false guidance, because you already know right from wrong in your soul. So the ultimate message of that whole biblical story is you already know right from wrong. It's in your own soul. Do what is right, refrain from doing what is wrong, and and that's the story.